Welcome back to the PT Graduate Podcast, and I'm really excited today to welcome my guest all the way from Hamilton, Matangiroa Flavell. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. Kia ora. Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. People may know that name. Is that right? You know, you've got a sporting background that people may well have known or may know the name, right?
Yeah. Or I hope they would, or maybe not. But yeah, I was originally a basketball player, so former tall food. Currently having a break at the moment. Since building this gym of ours. Yeah, basketball is my main sport. Yeah.
Yeah. And netball as well. Did you do some netball?
Yeah, just getting into it. So I try and dabble in a bit of everything just to keep the excitement alive.
Nice.
I played basketball since I was 5, so started from mini ball all the way up until maybe last year. So that was a good hobby of mine. And then once we opened our gym, I just needed new things to explore just to keep it exciting. So got into netball, very similar to basketball, but obviously no dribbling or anything like that. So just new hobbies just to keep things exciting.
Good on you. Fantastic. Leading by example. I was recommended that we chat by the lovely Nikki, and I'm glad that she passed that on, because I've been doing a bit of homework on what you guys are doing down in Hamilton, and it looks a little bit different to what's already out there. I think you found a really important niche that is untapped. But I guess before we get into that, I'd be keen to hear a little bit more about your background. So sort of where, obviously you talked about, from the age of 5, and you that carried on that love of basketball. But how did that, where did it begin for you, and how did you transition into the industry, and what led you to that transition?
Played basketball most of my life. So that was the main kind of driving force for my career at the time when I was in high school. And then got the opportunity to go overseas and play college basketball in America.
Right.
Came back and was just trying to figure out life after college. And so then I was in Auckland for a bit, living up there, playing basketball as well. But then I had the opportunity to get into the fitness industry. And so pretty much just started there, kind of inspired everything. And then I was at F45 for maybe like a year, and F45 at the time was, was booming. It was when F45 was the thing. It was a thing that people went to, and it was just really exciting. And I kind of got to see what the industry could be like, and a way to support Māori in particular, and just to create a really cool environment for our people. And so that's where it kind of stemmed from. And then got pulled down to Hamilton to live with my sister. She offered me a job with her clothing company, which is Henny Collection. It's 4 years old now, so it's grown and it's pretty massive at the moment. So I got pulled down to work with her. Nothing to do with fitness at the time. It was, I think, maybe like a social media. I don't know what it was. I don't even know what you call it now, but social media marketing.
Okay.
So I was working with her for maybe a year, and then both of us started our fitness journey of just developing ourselves to become, fitter versions of ourselves. And so we started going to F45s in Hamilton. We went to the BFTs, like the body fits and stuff like that. And we just found that there was no sense of community at the time for us, and Māori in particular. And so we just didn't feel comfortable. And I know that's such a normal thing in this industry. A lot of people feel really intimidated when they get into a gym, and we felt that. So we just thought of the idea, and probably crazy at the time because it was right before COVID. And so we were like, man, what if we just created our own gym and just create a space for our people so that they feel comfortable to go to, and create better habits for them and their whānau, their families and stuff like that. So that was the main inspiration of opening our gym. So then from there, we did it. So it was a big help, obviously, from the clothing brand, because the clothing brand already had a community. So that support flowed through to the movement. And yeah, so 2 years later, so it was 2 years on Monday. Oh, sorry,
brilliant.
last week Monday. So it's been 2 years now since we've opened, and it's been crazy since then. Just to see the development of the gym over the 2 years. And I know we're still a baby, and sometimes I forget that, because you start to compare yourselves to other gyms. But yeah, that's just how the movement was born, I guess.
Yeah. So I like to play on words, because obviously it's about movement, but it's a movement as well, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
The movement. Yeah. And you've obviously tapped into something, because you've got a number of classes. It's busy, and you've built that strong culture, and you've got a strong community. And I think the words I found were one community, one movement.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to take off. I mean, it sounds like it already has taken off, but it's awesome.
Yeah, I think obviously when we first came up with the idea, we spoke to a lot of people. One big person involved in that was our dad. So because all of us, so mine and my sister, Te Reo Māori is our first language.
Right.
And the reason why we wanted to open a gym was, again, just to have a place for our people to go to. So they feel comfortable, one, to be themselves and to even speak Te Reo. And so my dad was the one that kind of pushed it forward for us, and he said, what's the whole purpose, and why, why do you want to do this, and what's your point of difference? Because there's so many gyms in Hamilton already. You don't want to overpopulate it with the same thing, So he said, what's your point of difference? And that was it, is one, creating a space for Māori and Pacific Islanders, and two, having that one thing that just changes everything, is bring Te Reo Māori into the gym. So that's our main driving force. And to be honest, our first year of business was hard, because we wanted to just open our doors. We didn't want to, the fitness industry is intimidating in itself. And Te Reo Māori is intimidating in itself. So putting those two together is a big thing. And obviously a lot of people will be like, whoa, this is just too much for me. So our first year of business, we tried to just take a step back from Te Reo Māori and just incorporate little things. So whether it's a greeting, numbers, names for exercises, little things like that. But moving on to our second year of business, we pushed it so much. And all of our trainers at the moment, they all speak Te Reo. So three of them are fluent, or 4 of them are fluent, including myself. One is he was inspired to go and learn Te Reo, so he's taking a full immersion course this year.
Good on him.
And the other one is learning. So I'm really proud of that, to be honest, to have those trainers, and even to inspire one of our trainers to go and learn it for himself. There's a lot of people in our gym who missed out on learning it, and that's why I take it quite seriously, because I was privileged enough to actually have it as my first language. So it's definitely a game changer for us, and something that we're really pushing now.
That's phenomenal. It's really impressive, and I think if you make that model work, and it's a successful business as well as the culture and the community, I could see this thing multiplying and becoming quite even bigger movement. Is that sort of something that you guys have thought about, or is it early days still?
I think it's a bit of both. I think like I said, our first year business was just just trying to open our doors and create the community first. But then on the other side of that is, our Māori community is it, like that's where it is. But it's not like we're shutting others out. It's not just for Māori.
Sure.
So we want to make it open and comfortable enough for others who are non-Māori and those who don't speak Te Reo to actually feel comfortable enough to come into it, so that they feel inspired to get into it as well. So it's really hard to try and find that balance, but that's why this time going into our third year of business is actually just trying to master that, and hopefully that it can open it up to everyone. But I think looking back in our second year of business, we found that people who are non-Māori, those who don't speak Te Reo, they are learning it with us,
Yep. Yep.
And they are feeling more comfortable to speak it, whether it's just yes or no or good morning or whatever it is. They do feel comfortable enough to do that. Yeah.
It's fantastic. I think it makes it accessible, doesn't it? Because if I wanted to, like, I'm not a speaker, and I really feel like I should know more. Lived here long enough, but it's that. I mean, I know obviously I could go and find a course, right? But it's kind of a nice way in. You know, it's like, oh well, if I could learn, half a dozen things and a few phrases, I'd be, I'd be on my way. I'd have a little bit more confidence. Then I would go and, maybe do it like, one of your trainers, immersion or part-time or something, but I wouldn't have considered it otherwise if there wasn't a gym that was helping me out at that, do you know what I mean, to start that journey.
And that's I think that's when we realized that we're actually doing quite a bit of good here. So I think in the interview I mentioned we didn't expect to get the response that we're getting now, because at the time, Te Reo Māori was, it was quite a touchy subject, and a lot of people didn't want to talk about it. But with myself and my sister and the background of our dad, that was something that we had to stand by and we had to push. And so we've just carried that on for the last 2 years, and the response that we've gotten, and actually just seeing a lot of our members change is really crazy. And I've noticed it a lot. So people that just walk through our doors, they're like, oh, good morning, like not a lot of Te Reo Māori in them. And then a year later, you see them say, kia kaha, like, come on, let's go, you got this, or kia ora, or morena. It's just, even though it's so small, you just know that something has changed and it's switched in them to feel comfortable enough to say that. Because I understand how Te Reo Māori is, or can be intimidating, and especially if you're talking to a fluent speaker, there's a lot of, like, oh, they're going to judge me, or what if I say something wrong? I completely understand that. So just making the environment comfortable enough, even for you, example, if you came in, you'd feel comfortable enough to say kia ora to me, and, how are you? Kei te pēhea koe, just something like that. Because we do understand that it's scary. It is scary for a lot of people. So that's the main idea behind it, making it a very comfortable space with Te Reo Māori and to exercise. It goes hand in hand, I think.
Beautifully, I think. And what sort of I've had a flick through the website, but I guess anybody who hasn't, what sort of what are the classes based around? What sort of movement do you do? Gym movement?
So we started off around like functional fitness, and then we found our love for barbells. So we've gone down that lane quite a bit. So going down the barbell lane, learning more gymnastics, touching into the CrossFit scene. We like to do a bit of everything. I like to see ourselves as kind of like that bridge between functional and CrossFit. We wouldn't call ourselves a CrossFit gym at all. We just love to do certain movements that CrossFit offer, and because CrossFit is such a diverse sport, we just love it. We love it so much. So we do a bit of everything, I think.
Okay, that's great. And I see there's a big emphasis on the kids as well, the kids classes, and getting them involved, and that's so important, right? Just getting those habits in there early.
Absolutely. And majority of them, of those kids, their parents come to the gym, and our main idea was to inspire the parents to come. So a lot of the kids are new, and so our goal was to bring their parents in, and then hopefully when they see their kids doing it, it's like, well, why can't I do that type of thing? So we just introduced kids classes last term, and those kids classes are bilingual as well. Because we know a lot of kids, they're not fortunate enough to have Te Reo around in their household as a first language. So we try and incorporate that as well. So we're on term 3, but our second term for our tamariki talk classes, and they're awesome. They're really, really cool.
It looks like from what I can see on the website, so there's obviously a lot of fun element, right? That's really that's what going to keep kids coming back, is the fun stuff. So looks like you've got that nailed as well.
No, it's cool. It's just just introducing them to, a new, well, I guess another lifestyle. A lot of kids don't get the opportunity to go into a gym that early on in their, in that stage of life. So hopefully it will just continue,
Exactly, building those habits early, and hopefully that keeps them as movement people for the rest of their lives.
Exactly. Just building that community. Really, it can't just be adults. It has to be, going through the generations of families. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
No, you've got a good combination there. It sounds like your dad's a smart man. He made you think about that purpose and that meaning, and why you were doing it, rather than just to run a business and set up a business, because obviously you want to make a profit, but at the same time there's obviously a much stronger purpose behind it as a result of his input, and obviously you had some good ideas. How did you decide where you were going to place the business, where you were going to locate the business?
I think, well, what had happened was, because at the time with Hine Collection, so the clothing brand, because it's kind of its sister brand, we had to keep them together. So wherever the clothing brand went, that's where we went. And fortunate enough, at the time we found a new warehouse, and it was a fresh, big wide open warehouse, and it had the offices here and then the gym right next to it, or the warehouse space that was right next to it. So we kind of just plotted it wherever we found the warehouse. So that's where we are at the moment. We're still there 2 years on. But I think with the space that we have created, we're hoping, fingers crossed, that we'll stay there for a long time. So
you've got enough capacity to be able to grow for a while.
Exactly.
Nice, excellent. So what's happening with the clothing brand? So are you sort of still keeping them quite close to each other in terms of leveraging off one community, building another, selling clothes at the same time?
That was the initial goal, and mostly for my sister, because she is the owner of the clothing brand. Her idea was, she's offering the clothing, but what's the next step for them? And that's providing the space for them to actually use the clothing. So that was the another inspiration behind opening the gym. And so they do really go hand in hand. There's kind of like no movement without Hine, or vice versa. Mostly the first option, but it will go hand in hand. But we also need to remember that the movement is its own identity as well. But Hine is the clothing brand. Hine is the biggest, I guess, advocate for the movement.
So it's a nice synergy between the two. So I noticed you had you mentioned earlier, you referred to the interview and the Stuff article that was published fairly recently. I didn't realize how fresh it was, but so you've been approached by the media, and they've been and visited, and they've done some shooting some footage of as a kid doing a big tuck jump or something in the video there. So it sounds like what you guys are doing down there is obviously on people's radars. If you're getting shoulder tap for an interview and some video.
I think we rely a lot on our social media, because a lot of people are on there these days. And especially throughout the COVID time, like that was our first option of getting to people, so and also like following on from Hine Collection, that's also a big community online, and that has transferred onto our page as well. So we do a lot on our social media, and if you go through our Instagram, you can just see how raw and real our Instagram is. And we share quite a bit on there, from how to do certain movements and to what classes look like. But we share a lot, and because we want people to experience it, even if they're not in Hamilton. But if you watch our videos, that's exactly how it is in our gym. That's great. But our online community is massive, and I think that's why a lot of people are like, oh, what's this gym, and that kind of stuff. So it's worked wonders for us, and I know a lot of other businesses and even gyms work well off social media as well.
Yeah, it lends itself well to movement, because you can break it down. I think that's one of the ones I saw you doing was, I can't remember what the movement was, but it was a clean or a snatch, but you were sort of showing the component parts before you complete the full movement.
Yeah.
Very generous, it's I guess, again, it's sort of that accessibility. It's like, oh, is that how you, oh, okay. And if you do that, then that builds up to that, and it helps people kind of join the dots, and then they go, oh, maybe I could try that, so
exactly.
great approach. It's I had a click, and there's lots of more scrolling to do, but
it's honestly, that's how we teach in our classes.
Right.
Especially with barbell movements like that, it's very technical, and like a lot of people have different opinions. You've got your Olympic lifters, you've got your CrossFitters, and but that's just how we like to teach. And especially with the genre that, well, sorry, not the genre, the what is it? Our niche market, I guess, the people that we cater to. That's how we like to break it down. And it's not everyone is an athlete and can get things straight away. That's not who we cater to. So we have to break it down so that mentally that they understand, they visualize it first, and then they're like, oh, okay, that's how, like you said, that's how I do it, or maybe I could try it out now. And because I see ourselves as that bridging between, doing your functional at home body weight stuff to actually going into a really hard out CrossFit, gym. We're that bridge between those two. So we break things down. And so if people want to take it more seriously, or they are kind of, your athletes, then they go on to that path. But I don't think there's anywhere that caters to the in-betweeners. And that's who we like to cater to.
Yeah, that's great. It's real. It's like you say, what you see on the social media is exactly what happens in the gym. There's no sort of polished, fancy. Obviously, it's nicely edited, but it's what you would expect. It's what you would receive in the flesh, as opposed to scrolling. So authentic. That might be the word. Good word. I see you guys, I didn't really do much digging, but I see you guys use an app to, do you use an app to deliver, is it for booking, or is it for other things? How does the app work?
So currently our app is just to book classes. We also have the class description on there so that they know what they're going into. But we're currently in the talks of creating our own app, because we have such a huge online community. We want to cater to our people who are not based in Hamilton, or those who can't make it to the gym in Hamilton. We have a lot of mums that follow us that just can't access the gym because they have their kids with them and stuff like that. So currently our app is just the booking process. But eventually, hopefully, we can, make contact with someone who can create us an app that can cater to those who can't make it to the gym.
Do more. That's great. So is it you or your sister who's the business savvy person, or who you both kind of pick those skills up as the years have gone by?
Well, obviously my sister, she started it first. And when we decided to open the gym, the goal was for me to take over the gym eventually. And so that's what's happened now 2 years later. But my partner, he had experience, so he was a manager of maybe 3 Step Fitnesses before that. So this is probably like 3 to 4 years ago. So he had the experience of how to build a gym from the ground up.
Brilliant.
Which helped us big time. Because to be honest, at the time, me and my sister had no idea how to open a gym at all. And we've learned a lot along the way. And looking back, we're like, oh my gosh, what were we thinking, But a lot of credit goes to my partner, because he did build a lot of it. He really built the foundation. And so I just learned off him for maybe the first year. And so now I've taken over, and I've, I learn every day, honestly. And it's not easy at all. It's not an easy job to do. So I learn every day, and I'm still, I'd like to think I'm still young. So a lot of people wouldn't think I would be, running a gym at this age. And so I just try and do my best, really, with what learned so far.
Absolutely. Yeah. Good on you. I mean, so it's a brave thing to do, and it's even braver to do it, in the middle of a pandemic. So or at the beginning of one. So yeah, good. Kudos to you and everybody involved who
thank you.
Stuck at it. And as you say, it is a learning journey, isn't it? If it's not something you've done before, you lean on those who know a little bit more, and then steep learning curve until you feel like you've got most things handled, and then it's like, right, what's next?
Yeah, exactly. What's next? And I think definitely figuring out, our purpose and what we're doing, that helps, because I can hand on heart admit that there's a lot of times that you stop and compare to other gyms, and you kind of lose track or lose sight of what you're doing for the gym and where the gym is going. And so I think that's where now we're knuckling down on why or who we are and what we're trying to achieve, and that's kind of helped us along the way.
That's a good one, isn't it? I think not enough people do that in their businesses, is to sort of anchor what are their values, or what's the purpose, and that's the stuff that balances out the sort of the commercial stuff. You want to turn a dollar, but at the same time, sometimes when times are tough, it's not a dollar that gets you out of bed, it's that purpose.
Exactly.
To keep on keeping on to help the people that are invested in your business.
And again, we did get carried away. I still do get carried away with, are we doing enough? Are we making enough money? Because the fitness industry is just so up and down, and it fluctuates year round. With winter, it's dead. Like everyone can admit that. In summertime, it's booming. But it's how do you plateau it for the whole year? Rather than just going up and down. And so that purpose definitely gets you out of bed, and it's it's a driving force, and it should be really in your business. But again, that's just something that I've learned. It's not something that I knew when we first opened the gym. And that's credit to my dad, I think, because when we first decided to open the gym, he goes, why are you opening a gym? And me and my sister were like, well, because we want to, it wasn't a clear answer. But now 2 years later, we have that answer. It's for the pure purpose of having a place for our people, and using our language to drive it. But I didn't have that answer 2 years ago, and so it's taken 2 years to find it.
Fair enough. That's good.
So you learn all the way.
You do.
Yeah.
I guess having Maori Language Week this week isn't necessarily anything special for you. It's like we're already doing this every week, but does it have an extra special meaning? Does it allow you to maybe push things a little bit more than you would normally, or how does it go?
Yeah, good point. I think I put that on our story as well, and I just said, Māori Language Week is obviously very, very important, but it doesn't change what we do in our gym. We're already doing what Māori Language Week should be every week. Like that's how I wanna be in our gym, and that's how I want people to see us. I told our trainers, nothing changes for us. We still do what we do, but I think the one thing that we will change is just do more. Like, whether that's speaking more te reo and explaining the warm up, or speaking te reo to a member, like one of our trainers, the one that's learning. This is a perfect opportunity for him to feel comfortable enough during this week to talk to someone and have a full conversation in te reo. And so hopefully this will encourage everyone to just give it a bit more. But you're right, it shouldn't change anything that we're doing, because this is what we strive to do every week of the year, and just normalize it. That's our goal, is just to normalize it.
That's brilliant. That's great. I think you've I was going to ask you, so I can't remember where I found it, but it said AKA Pep.
Are you asking where it came from?
Yeah. So I was gonna. That's so much easier to pronounce.
So Pepper's. I'm the baby of the family, so we're a family of five kids, and I'm the baby. So my sister, who I work with and the owner of the gym, she's the middle child, and I'm the baby. So people just Pepe and te reo is baby.
Gotcha.
So my family
Gotcha.
just started calling me Pep, as just to shorten it even more.
Yeah.
So that's where Pep comes from. And
Gotcha.
a lot of my close family members, friends know me as Pep. Majority of our gym knows me as Pep. But that's where Pep comes from.
Got it. Excellent. All right. Fantastic. So yes, I interrupted myself when I was talking, saying you've kind of dropped in some of the stuff that you've learned along the way already, which is really good. And I think there'll be lots of other people who've probably done a similar thing as they've gone on their journey. But there are some key things that you sort of noticed or come across as you've gone, and even before the movement, in terms of working at F45, things that have worked for you, things that have sort of you've gone, right, I need to keep doing that because that's a winner, or I'm not going to do that again because it's definitely not a winner. Those sorts of things that you've picked up along the way.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is our community. So I'm heavy on kind of like creating that connection with people. I think when you get a bit stuck in your own work and you're not really focused on feedback from the people or what they think and stuff like that, then you're just going down the wrong way, because at the end of the day, your community is what's driving you. And so there's a few times where we've just focused on, or I focused on what I've wanted or what me and my sister wanted, and it's not necessarily what the community wanted, and we've kind of just gone off the rails a bit of where the gym's going and what the purpose is and stuff like that. So I think my sister has picked up on, listen to the people who are actually in your gym, listen to them, get their feedback. What do they want? What do where do they want to go? Or just so you know that you're going in the right direction, you're heading in the right direction. So that's a big one. And I'm still trying to master it, because you're always just trying to come up with new ways to keep people inspired and motivated. And that's the hardest thing, I think, for me personally, is what's another thing, like what's something else that can bring people through the doors or keep them there. So just listening to your community and actually having that relationship with them. I always tell my coaches this, like, get to know everyone. This is not a commercial gym where people just come in and out of the door. It's not like that. We want to have relationships with our members. We want to know, how they're doing. What do they do? Their families. And like I said, it's a community, and it doesn't just stop with them. We want to bring their kids in, their husbands, their partners, it's a whole whānau. It's a big family. So that's a massive one that I have learnt. But again, still trying to master.
It's an evolution. It's an ongoing journey for everyone, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's funny, actually, because well, it's not funny, but it's something that keeps coming up, this community thing. And I've spoken to a number of different people around the country, and those who have got the facilities where there's a number of members, there's a number of trainers, they've got a different flavor. And I was talking to a guy down in Wanaka who sort of does the obstacle course type stuff. It's they've each got their own different flavor and their different thing, and that's what attracts their tribe. But the ones that seem to really flourish are the ones that put that community at the beginning of the journey for the members and the clients. And it sounds like you're doing exactly the same thing, and it's just so powerful. Brilliant.
Oh, like I said, the community itself is what drives the gym. Like there's no gym without a community, or else it just becomes a space, it doesn't really mean anything. But I think we've known that for a long time since we opened, but we definitely seen it in our last challenge. So it was our 8-week challenge, and there were a lot of like obstacles during that challenge, and we noticed that people just really miss the community sense of the challenge. And it's just really, that's when people just come together. It's such a, because we have teams in our challenges, and so in that challenge you could just see that people it wasn't the same. And that's one from us not doing enough to I guess create that sense of, like, I don't know, I wouldn't say community, but that sense of, I don't know, belonging to a team, or creating that competitive environment where it was us against you, and you know, that's where the fun comes into it. So that's another thing I've learned, is every challenge we've learned something, and that was one thing. People love the community sense of things. They love it and they thrive off it, and it's one big factor for people to come back every time. And that's why we know that it's really important, and that's why it's one of our biggest driving forces.
Brilliant.
Is that community. Do
you run challenges on a regular basis, or how does that work?
No, so we do 2 big challenges a year. One for summer and one for winter. That's because we just wanted to have a big emphasis on each challenge, and it's it shouldn't be we don't really like the idea of having challenges constantly, because then it just doesn't make each one special. But also it's, you know, every challenge you're just trying to implement new habits, and hopefully every challenge it's trying to find a bit of consistency in that lifestyle, rather than cutting foods and then coming off, cutting foods and then coming off. It's you know, it's just trying to find that balance. So we do a big emphasis on just 2 challenges a year. So we've got our next one coming up in October for summer, which is usually hectic. So I'm really looking forward to it. That summertime, man, everyone just goes crazy.
It's funny, isn't it? You know, the light starts to change, and even before the clocks change, you can start to see people's behavior change. You know, it's like, I need to do something. It's like, well, where were you the last 3 months?
Exactly.
You don't say that to them, but you know what I mean. It's good to see anybody who wants to make a change, but it's quite powerful how it influences people.
And I always look forward to summer. I love summer. Winter is terrible. I absolutely hate it. It's really bad, but I also ask some people, like, why do you get up at 5:30 in the morning? It's winter. Like, come on, man. But you know, that's, as a gym manager, that's just what you have to do. You have to encourage and motivate people. But in the summer, it's not that hard to motivate people. They just love it. They absolutely love it.
It's warmer, it's lighter, it's more inviting.
More inviting, I think.
Well, that's brilliant. I've been scribbling notes in those last couple of minutes to put into the show notes. And I'll add anything else in there that you'd like, you know, some socials and maybe even the link to that article. So I'll drop all of that in there so people can just dig in and have a look and see what you guys are up to.
Absolutely.
If someone was driving through, where would they find you? How do they pop in and see you?
So we're based in Te Rapa, so it's right next to the base. A lot of people know where that is in Hamilton, the base mall. And we're just down a little side street. And just you can just pop on through. Someone's always there, or we're super active on our social media or email address. So the Movement NZ on Instagram, or my email address. So just my full name, Matangiroa at the Movement NZ. But we love to see new people, new faces, new people in our gym, and we love to have everyone to just come on through and check it out. Including yourself.
Well, next time I head down the highway, I'll make a point of that. I've got quite a few places to visit now. I've had a few chats.
Have you been down to Wanaka yet? That would be a good trip.
Good. I've got Wanaka and Dunedin as well, so I've got to do the whole south. Southland bit. I really appreciate your time. It's been fantastic talking, Pep. I hope I can call you Pep. And And thanks for talking, considering you're at home not very well. So hopefully we haven't strained your voice too much and made you less well. But really great chatting to you, and thank you for your time.
Oh no, thank you for sharing our bit of story with everyone else. I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing some new faces, and hopefully seeing yourself in person as well.
Absolutely, at some point I will make a mission of it. So thank you. Yes, and enjoy. Get well soon.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay. See you.
Bye.
Bye.